All right, guys. Get in the chat if you guys are not watching. The live stream, man. Uh, I guess this. I don't know, man. This is a weird. This is not the usual way that I do my raw reviews. I usually do them in the office. I am at work, but I have to record in another location for uh other reasons. But I always say I'm gonna try my best to get the review to you guys. So I'm in another location of my building. You guys can see I don't have my normal layout. Um, I don't have my microphone with me. I'm just using my phone, which it's not bad. iPhones have decent quality. But I did promise to get you guys a review today. Especially it's been a wild week. I haven't been able to get all the videos I usually. Let me close the door. All right. Anyway, guys, let's go. All right. Yo, what up, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G-Lauren33. I am back here tonight with your Monday Night Raw review and results for May 4th, 2020. Happy Star Wars Day for any of my Star Wars fans. Still hoping that Sasha Banks is in the Mandarin season 2. Um, but yeah, May the 4th be with you, depending when you guys are watching this. But yeah, this is your Money in the Bank go home show. Today was the final show before Money in the Bank. This is, well, I consider Money in the Bank to be one of the big five pay-per-views. And we all know WWE is marketing, advertising this as the most unique Money in the Bank ladder match ever. Because, they're doing the whole climb the corporate ladder nonsense. And I gotta be honest with you guys. To me, it feels like they're already spoiling how they're gonna do this match. You had Becky Lynch, and I posted a video on Thursday ranting about Becky Lynch. Pretty hilarious. Um, but to me, at least, it's pretty interesting how they're going about this entire situation. With this being the most unique Money in the Bank match ever. And Becky Lynch went on, and the video I did on Thursday about Becky Lynch, I went off. I talked about how her title reign sucks, all this other nonsense, and I stick by all those points. Becky went on a podcast earlier this week, and she was basically talking about, like, how WWE, how do I say this? How basically Vince McMahon was teaching all the WWE superstars how to fall off a building. And the thing is, I was already thinking about how this was going to be possibly one of the spots for the match. It seems like someone's actually going to fall off the building. I see freaking some betting app was like, oh, who's going to fall off a building in this Sunday's Money in the Bank ladder match? And it's like WWE's already teasing how the match is going to go. To me, after tonight, I feel like there's a very good chance that both Raw gets both the men's and the female Money in the Bank winners. I gotta be honest, I look at who's representing SmackDown in both Money in the Bank ladder matches, and I just feel like it's more likely somebody from Raw is going to take home the dub. You know, on Raw, you had the return of AJ Styles. I think he's one of the favorites for the men. Also, Aleister Black. And really, after that, I don't really see anybody else that can win the match. I don't see Otis winning it. I don't see, well, Baron Corbin, he could be the dark horse, just because he's really, outside of AJ Styles, he's the only heel in the match. Uh, I don't see Daniel Bryan winning it. Daniel Bryan doesn't need the briefcase. And who else is on Raw? Rey Mysterio, he doesn't need the briefcase either. So I feel like it's going to come down to either AJ Styles or Aleister Black. When you go on the female side, there's really nobody from SmackDown that I believe is going to win that briefcase. I don't think Carmella's winning it. I don't feel like what's his name? Dana Brooke winning it. Don't make me laugh. Lacey Evans, please, I will throw up. And it's gonna be somebody from Monday Night Raw who wins the briefcase there. I pray that it's not Nia Jax. I would be fine with it being Asuka or uh or Shayna Baszler. And they announced tonight, and like I said, I don't know, I'm mentioning Becky Lynch a lot. You know, for someone that doesn't appear on the show, I've mentioned her name a lot. Becky Lynch will be returning to Monday Night Raw after being gone for a month. Tonight was her third straight Monday Night Raw with no appearance. Like, no, her fiance Seth Rollins is there every single week, but Becky Lynch isn't, right? Because he's special now. Because Becky's Hollywood. I might have a video on that later this week, since there's been a decent response to my video ranting about Becky Lynch's title reign. I might do a follow up video, and you know it's going to be interesting to see. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be very interesting to see if I decide to make a second part to my Becky Lynch video. But anyway, let's get back to, we're talking about Raw tonight. The show was awful. Like, I don't even have to really like state, like, show was absolutely terrible from all levels. The thing is, WWE, it seems like they just, this whole pandemic, it's taken every single last ounce of sense that the company even had. The company makes zero sense these days. The decision making, the creative decisions, it's like everything. You know, I can't, the only thing I can agree with WWE is this corporate ladder. I'm actually a little bit intrigued. It's something creative. It's something we've never seen. You know, climb the corporate ladder. And I'm thinking about it, since this is a big, 5 pay-per-view. I might do a prediction stream later this week. We'll just have to wait and see on that. If you guys want that, I will definitely bring it to you guys. So make sure to leave a like on this video if you guys want a prediction stream later this week. I am not doing a live reaction stream. After Lacey Evans beat Sasha Banks a couple weeks ago, I got so pissed off. I was like, nah, really? Like, what? You guys want me? I guess you guys would love to see my reaction to seeing somebody, thrown off the WWE headquarters. And if they do that spot, it's definitely going to be on the men's side. I don't see them doing that on the female side. But, and remember, we also got to remember, both Money to Make ladder matches are going to be taking place at the same time. And another thing I've been, thinking about, what's going to happen to the other matches. Like, we have Bailey versus Tamina. You guys can tell how much I care about that match just based off my reaction. We have Bailey versus Tamina. Is that match going to be happening inside Money in the Bank? It's going to be taking place, on top of the building, or is it going to be like filmed in advance at the Performance Center? Like, I still have no idea about that. But if you guys want a prediction stream, let me know by leaving a like on this video. But either way, let's get into Monday Night Raw tonight. Really, the show was awful. You guys know this. Like, Raw sucks every night. But still, as always, I suffer for you guys. So definitely, my pain represents all of yours. I will be your messiah when it comes to Monday Night Raw. But anyway, uh, let's get into Monday Night Raw. My head's in like a different zone tonight, but I wanted to make sure, as always, I got you guys the review. So let's get into it. This show sucked. Uh, but yeah, this week's Monday Night Raw was the go home episode before another fanless WWE pay per view, which kind of doesn't make any sense, but based off the circumstances we're in. And yes, I did read an article from Dave Meltzer. There are reports now that still, the states are starting to ease up on the social distancing. There is a chance, not this month, but probably sometime in June, that WWE will be allowed to have some kind of, crowd for shows going forward. I don't know if it's going to be like having full arenas. That's my hope for SummerSlam at least. By SummerSlam, we can get, at least decent size of fans in the arena. If anything, I wish we could just get like an NXT level crowd. Like if they could just get fans inside of Full Sail University, that would be fine. If we can't get full arenas, that's fine. But my hope, especially since I have SummerSlam tickets, uh, I hope we can get, decent sized crowds at least by the time we get to August, which is still 3.5 months away. So there's still plenty of time. And as I've read, SummerSlam is still on. But I did read that around June, there's a good chance that AEW and WWE will be allowed to start having crowd or fans inside the arena once again. We don't know what that would look like. Most likely, I think that would be like having at least 25% of a normal audience, which is still a lot of people. A normal, Raw or SmackDown sits around what 13 to 15,000. So just 25% of that, about 3,000 people. That's still a lot. That's a decent size. That's around the size of a house show crowd. So still, that would be fine. But I just wanted to report on that real quick. I don't know what's the next pay per view after this anyway. It might be Extreme Rules, but I'm not sure. Anyway, Raw opened up tonight with the MVP Lounge. All right, the VIP Lounge. This was basically the same thing as we saw last week on Raw. Uh, Last week we had the male Money in the Bank competitors. This week we had the female Money in the Bank competitors for Raw. And this segment was done terribly. You guys saw me rant here last week about my thoughts on Nia Jax, Asuka, and Shayna Baszler in the match, the triple threat match that never happened. The triple threat match that never should have happened because it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense because how you gonna book a triple threat between three women that are in the Money in the Bank ladder match, knowing that all three need to look strong going into the match. You have one of them lose, they're gonna look weak going inside the match itself, and you can't have that. And instead, they didn't even have the match. They had a terrible pre-match brawl, with Nia Jax of all people standing out on top. To follow that up, they decided to do a segment in the ring tonight on the VIP lounge. The segment was cringe. It did nothing. Uh, it did nothing to help any of the three women going into Money in the Bank. You guys know how I feel about Nia Jax. She's trash. She sucks. Get her off the TV. She should not even have a job. She's terrible at what she does. You know, Oscar. I like Oscar a lot, but legit, it's like here and there with her. WWE doesn't know how to push her. One day she's getting pushed, another day she's getting buried. You know, and Shayna Baszler, you guys know my thoughts on her. She should have never lost to Becky Lynch. I'm losing respect for Becky Lynch by the week. All right, by the week, Becky Lynch didn't appear on Raw tonight. This was her third straight Raw with no appearance. Nothing. Yep, but yet Becky Lynch fans and the community are gonna be like, we love Becky Lynch. She's the greatest Raw Women's Champion of all time. But you never hear any Becky Lynch fans talk about how Becky's never there. Next week will be basically a month since her last appearance on Raw, and yes, she is advertised for next week's show. They did say she will be there next week, but they basically spoiled that the women's Money in the Bank match winner is going to be a competitor for Raw. They had a promo or a little commercial set up saying next week on Raw, Becky Lynch will go head to head with the Money in the Bank winner. So basically, huh? Like, what sense does that make? You basically already spoiled that Becky's or that Raw is gonna get the female Money in the Bank winner. You've already spoiled it. It doesn't feel special anymore, And it makes most sense because if you look on SmackDown, there's nobody on the SmackDown side of things that you can look at and say, "Hey, that's a believable winner for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match." I already went through it. Lacey Evans, she sucks. She's trash. All right. Dana Brooke, don't make me laugh. All right. And Carmella, please. She's won Money in the Bank in the past. She's not winning it again. All right. It's going to be either Nia, Shayna, or Asuka. The two most that make sense. My favorite, if I had to pick, if the person that I wanted to won the match, it would be Asuka. It would be Asuka. I would have Asuka take the title off of Becky. But the one that makes the most sense easily is Shayna. The thing is, Shayna should have never won the match. I mean, Shayna should have never lost to Becky at Mania. You guys should know my stance on this, you know? And ever since WrestleMania, not even ever since Hell in a Cell, I wanted Becky to lose that title. Becky's credibility to me has fallen. Yes, I know she's getting all these Hollywood TV deals. She was on Billions this past weekend. There's rumors saying that they want her in a Marvel movie, and yes, she has some cool things going for her. But if you're going to do that, take the title off her. Take the title off her. All right. Like I said, I have an idea for them to do something like they could do like a Becky Hollywood gimmick for her. Because I've been thinking, back in 2018 when when they first tried to turn Becky heel after SummerSlam, the fans wouldn't accept it. They basically forced WWE to turn Becky back into a babyface. I have an idea now that if you want to do something cool and you want to make Becky look relevant again, because honestly, like I said, I'm losing respect and credibility for Becky each and every single week that she doesn't appear, that she doesn't show up, that she doesn't wrestle. Like I said, she's only wrestled 3 times this year on WWE TV, and we're already almost halfway through the year. It's disrespectful, and I don't care how good Becky is. All right? Do your job. Do your job. Sasha Banks is going to be in the tag team match. Sasha Banks and Bayley are going up against Tamina and Lacey Evans on SmackDown. Sasha Banks would have wrestled more matches this month alone that Becky has on WWE TV all year long. But yet nobody mentions this. But yet you want to advertise, 1 week in advance that Becky's going to be confronting the Money in the Bank winner. I hope, if it's Shayna or Asuka, I hope the night after Money in the Bank she gets cashed in on. I hope so. It needs to end. If Becky wants to go do TV, fine. I don't care. Good for her. I might actually go watch a movie if it's good. If she's in a Marvel movie, hell yeah, I'll watch it because Marvel makes the best movies. But the thing about it is, you should not be champion if you're going to be pulling this kind of stunt. If Becky didn't have the title, I would not be talking about this. I wouldn't care. Do you guys see me mention Roman Reigns every SmackDown review? No. The only reason why I mention Roman is because his name is always being tied to the Universal Championship and what's going on with Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. That's it. I don't talk about Roman as one. I don't really want him on WWE TV. I don't hate Roman. I hate how he's portrayed on WWE TV. And the thing about it is, it doesn't matter as much to me. It doesn't bother me as much. Because why? Roman's not a champion on WWE TV right now. He's not holding the Universal Championship and sitting at home. I have a little bit of a problem with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's the IC champion right now, and he hasn't showed up in like 2, 3 weeks. I understand, yeah, if you don't want to be there because you want to stay safe because of what's going on with the coronavirus and all this, but you cannot be a champion and to sit there and be at home. It devalues the championship. That's my problem with Becky. She is devaluing the Raw Women's Championship. People go on saying, oh, she's been a champion for over 1 year. And she's never there. She never wrestles. It's making the championship look important. What do you think the championship's doing right now? It's sitting probably in a suitcase. Like, let's just be honest. It's sitting probably in a suitcase in her bedroom. Like, come on. Anyway, see, I just went on another Becky Lynch tyrant. All right, but like I said, Asuka, Shayna, or what's her name? Uh, Nia. One of those three is gonna win. Hopefully, it's either Asuka or Shayna. If Nia wins, Sunday night you're gonna get an epic rant from me. But basically, MVP just went through, some standard questions, taking what you would expect from these three competitors. It wasn't anything special. Oscar just said a bunch of stuff in Japanese like she usually does, and I love Oscar. She is hilarious. Uh, Shayna Baszler, she said something in like I don't know if it was like Roman. I don't know what she said. She said something in some or Latin. It was in some weird language. She said a couple words, but basically she said, "I let my fist do the talking." Okay, fine. Yes, that's all Shayna really needed to say. But think about it is you have not portrayed her correctly since she's been on the main roster, and we all know this. And then Nia started talking about how she's a dominant force. No one's gonna stop me. This. No one gave a damn. I didn't give a damn. So basically, Oscar and Shayna, they got some payback on Nia for what happened last week. They hit a drop kick on what's her name, on Nia. Nia fell outside the ring, and basically, yeah, Oscar and Shayna almost came to blows. Oscar was getting in Oscar's face, or Shayna was getting in Oscar's face, saying, "All you do is talk." And then MVP had to separate them, and that was it. This segment was stupid. It was probably worse than the segment we had last week. It was honestly dumb. It was a waste of our time. Like, honestly, just a waste of our time. Next up, we had the last man gauntlet match. All right, this was to determine Apollo Cruz's replacement for the Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't know still what's going on with Apollo Cruz. I think his injury is being done for storyline purposes, but still, you know, not anything serious. And the thing about it is, one thing for me is WWE has really hurt themselves when it comes to the gauntlet match. A couple years ago, when they started doing gauntlet matches again, it was great. It was two fin. The ones that come to my mind is the Seth Rollins one. I think this was 2018, I believe. I think that was the gauntlet match when he beat Roman and Cena. He wrestled for like what, nearly an hour. Like that was great. That's when Seth Rollins. Yes, that was 2018. That was when Seth Rollins was prime babyface. That's when Seth was at his best. When Burn It Down and Monday Night Rollins, that's when it was. That was when Rollins was at his best. During that year, he was IC champion. He won the IC championship at Mania. He feuded with Ziggler. He was putting on classics every single week. Like that's when Rollins was at his best. Then 2019, we all know what happened. Everything fell off the rails. And then the other gauntlet match that comes to mind is Kofi Kingston. You guys remember last year when they were doing the whole Kofi Kingston storyline, which was never supposed to happen, by the way, but still, it was great. Kofi had a gauntlet match and he wrestled for like an hour. He had multiple gauntlet matches actually, and that's how Kofi made, a huge name for himself on his road to becoming WWE champion. Which remember, he had a decent WWE championship run. He held the WWE title for like half a year, and he was booked very well. He had a really good title reign. I I I, I wonder why. Now that I'm thinking about why I never made a video talking about Kofi Kingston's championship reign. Probably because I was still very angry about how he got buried the Brock Lesnar in 7 seconds, which still pisses me off to this day. But but anyway, this last chance gauntlet match. Thing is, we see so many gauntlet matches on WWE TV. It's ridiculous, right? It is honestly ridiculous. We see way too many gauntlet matches on WWE TV these days. You know, it's like every time we need to figure out like a number one contender or last chance. Like entry into a big match. Like WWE just overdoes the gauntlet match, in my opinion. But anyway, we did have a gauntlet match. The thing started off, and there was a long gauntlet match. It wasn't like six. I think this was like an 8-person gauntlet match. But the match started off with Titus O'Neil. They let Titus out of catering for one night. All right. That Titus O'Neil versus Bobby Lashley. I will say this about Bobby Lashley. I can't stand the guy. I still want a uh, Jacob Bright. Are you new to the channel? Like my social media is down in the description down below, bro. But I just don't recognize your name. Are you a new subscriber, Jacob? Hey, let me know. But yeah, let me know, Jacob, if you're a new. All right. Yeah, but my social media is in the description down below. You can find it. My Snapchat, my Twitter, all that. But anyway, getting back into it itself, Titus, they let Titus out of catering, but like what I say, Bobby Lashley, this is the way he should always be booked. The guy should be booked to be a dominant monster. The guy's actually not bad in the ring. Yes, he doesn't have any charisma. His charisma stinks. The guy is legit like a plastic bag of doo doo when it comes to charisma. But the thing about it is when it comes to his in-ring skill, he actually is very talented. Like I said, I still want to see Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar one of these days. Uh, and the thing is, he was booked very dominantly to start off this gauntlet match. You know, Lashley beat O'Neal very quickly. It was like less than a minute. Then Akira Tozawa, and you guys know I love Akira Tozawa. I just wish he was booked better. The guy is booked like a superstar on 205 Live. Watch some of his matches on 205 Live, he will blow you away. But on Monday Night Raw, he's booked like a jobber. Pisses me off. But lastly, hit him with a spear the same way he defeated uh, O'Neal. Then we had Shelton Benjamin come down. I forgot Shelton Benjamin was even on the roster. I like it's whenever they have a gauntlet match, that's when you see the superstars that you forget were signed to this company. Like Shelton Benjamin, man, he could be so good in that mid card division. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate it. But Shelton Benjamin could be so good inside that mid card division, but he's never used. Like WWE refuses. Like I'm surprised Southern Benjamin wasn't one of the guys released when WWE had Black Wednesday a couple weeks ago. Like I don't get it. Why wasn't Benjamin released? I legit forgot this guy was on the roster. I think this is the maybe the second or third time we've seen him since the draft back in October. It makes zero sense to me why we never see Shelton Benjamin. The guy is talented. Like I don't get it. Someone explain that to me, you know? But like I agree with you, Jacob. Shawn Michaels versus Shelton Benjamin, one of the best, low key, one of the best matches of that year, and it was a TV show match. The finish when last week or not last week when Benjamin comes flying. It's Benjamin versus Shawn Michaels, not last week versus Michaels. Shelton Benjamin versus Shawn Michaels. When Benjamin leaps off the top rope, he gets super kicked by Shawn Michaels. One of the best super kicks I've ever seen. Benjamin showed it like a boss. Like, why isn't he used on WWE TV? He has power, he has charisma, he's athletic. I remember they had Benjamin doing this gimmick when he would just be interviewed and then he would just, be staring uh, into like no man's land, and it would be hilarious. Everyone would be like, "What's going on, lad? What's on Shelton's mind?" Like, come on, man. WWE has so much talent and they refuse to push it. It pisses me off. Just so many links. But lastly, hit him with a third spear. So not Benjamin. Benjamin was eliminated, and then lastly, moves on. Next up, Humberto Carrillo was next. All right, and he was able to last for a little bit. But I did like how they made Lashley look dominant. He should look like this. I don't know why WWE doesn't know how to book Bobby Lashley correctly. The guy is one of the easiest guys to. He should be one of the easiest guys to book on your entire roster. All right. Um, but getting back into it, Humberto Carrillo made back the loser himself. Humberto came up and he was able to make it through the break. We come back, and then lastly got himself disqualified when he put his hands on a referee. Do I think no? I don't think Humberto will ever get over. The guy's a loser. All right. Maybe if you had him win the United States Championship. Here's my thing. When WWE, I like foreign superstars. Like I love Angel Garza. Love this guy. The guy, the charisma. He has everything. My only problem with most of these foreign superstars is they can't speak English. Andrade, Andrade would be in the main event fighting for the WWE Championship if he could speak better English. Like there's an article like that Dave Meltzer put out that states Vince McMahon told Andrade if he learns English, he will be put higher on the card. He has everything. That's why I love Garza. Garza already knows how to speak pretty good English. Humberto, uh, Andrade, these guys can't speak English. Like I love Selena Vega. I can listen to her talk all day, but at some point these superstars have to speak English. You know what I mean? Like, dang, like Brock Lesnar, he has Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman does all the talking for him. But every once in a while, Lesnar will take the mic and he'll say what's on his mind. You know, there's like good look at what like a Lesnar segment with R-Truth or Heath Slater or Samoa Joe, something like that. But yeah, Lashley got disqualified. He hit Humberto with a spear afterwards. Because he was angry, even though it was his fault for getting himself disqualified. And this is where I get angry. Selena Vega's crew comes out. First off, Angel Garza. Garza comes out and he is fresh. Humberto, who just had a match with Lashley, who was speared after the match, right? He was speared, beaten down. Angel Garza should have made quick work of this guy. Quick work. He was in full control of the match, but on a random roll up, Humberto was able to get Garza eliminated. Buried. Buried. A couple weeks ago, I was so high on Selena's faction, and there was reports that Paul Heyman wanted to put this faction as a dominant trio on Raw. Selena's the leader with Andrade, Garza, and Austin Theory. Nope. 3 weeks later, they're buried. They're completely buried. You fed them the Drew McIntyre the last couple of weeks. They lost that tag team match to Mysterio, Black, and Apollo last week. And even though I kind of like where they were going with Apollo and Andrade, still, after tonight, completely buried. After Angel Garza loses in a random roll up to, what's his name, to Humberto, Austin Theory comes out next. So Selena stays at ringside. All right, a fresh Angel Garza and now a fresh Austin Theory. Basically, Humberto was able to counter a superplex, and he got beat. He got beat. So a fresh Angel Garza and a fresh Austin Theory can't take out a Humberto Carrillo who had already been through a match with Lashley, speared after the match, and beats both of them. Yeah, you do not speak to me telling me that this faction is not buried. They are buried. They are officially buried after tonight. The last final entrance into the match was AJ Styles. AJ coming back. This was the first time we've seen Styles in the last month. We haven't seen him since WrestleMania, and his Boneyard match was incredible with The Undertaker. Uh, yes, Jacob, I do. I see your notifications. I'll answer that after um, the review. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Styles came back. This was his first time being back. Remember, he doesn't have the OC anymore. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson were both released as part of Black Wednesday a couple weeks ago. You know, will WWE re-sign them when things get back to normal? Maybe, but if I'm the OC, I wouldn't go back to WWE unless AJ Styles is able to convince them. AJ's a made man. AJ's never gonna be in bad shape with WWE. I bet you he was probably a little bit frustrated seeing his friends lose their jobs, but they're still getting paid. All the guys, everyone that was released is still getting paid by WWE at least for the next couple of months. So OC gets to sit at home and be paid, and there's still a chance. If things get back to normal, they could just be re-signed. But yeah, but Styles, he comes back. I knew he was gonna beat Humberto. He was fresh. Hits him with the calf crusher for the win, and he gets in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Afterwards, he cuts a promo saying, "Yeah, I was buried by the Undertaker." But the thing about it is, it wasn't even an official match. There was no 1, 2, 3. There was no referee. There's no rules in a boneyard match. So Styles said he survived and he's back and better than ever. You don't know what I've been through. You think I'm scared of a corporate ladder? I will. He said, "I will throw Rey Mysterio or Aleister Black. I don't care who it is. I will do anything to get that Money in the Bank contract." I'm pretty convinced. Aleister Black was my pick to win Money in the Bank. He still is. Well, but right now I'm going with either AJ Styles or Aleister Black. Like I said at the beginning of the review, I'm convinced that one of those two is winning Money in the Bank. It just makes too much sense. Way too much sense. Anyway, uh, back to the match itself. Um, but yeah, like I said, AJ cut a promo saying he'll do anything to beat Mr. Money in the Bank, and I believe it. Like I said, there is no excuse why Drew McIntyre should not hold the WWE Championship for most of, if not all year. The guy has so many challengers; it's endless. He has Seth Rollins. I don't. Some people believe Seth's actually taking the title from him. He's not. You know, maybe they'll do like some fucked finish to continue the feud, and that's whatever. We'll deal with that when we get there if that happens. But Drew's not losing that title. He has way too many opponents. I would be pissed because I've become a huge Drew McIntyre fan the last couple of months. Man, like the guy has so many opponents that you could do. Seth Rollins, we're saying that this Sunday. You have AJ Styles now back. You have Bobby Lashley if you want to do that. Randy Orton. You have Edge. You know, you can always do another Brock Lesnar match. Who else? You know, I don't believe I'm saying this, but freaking Jinder fucking Mahal. Like, you just know that he was going to do that at some point. You know, you can always put Andrade in that position, build a match between them. You know, Rey Mysterio. I could see that working. There's just too much there for Drew McIntyre not to hold that title for most, if not all, of this year. He has too many opponents. And I believe they did say something about Edge and Randy Orton coming back next week. We haven't seen either one since WrestleMania, but let me see. They did. I saw something on social media. Yeah. So it was confirmed next week on Raw TV. Edge on Monday Night Raw. Edge and Randy Orton will be back. We know that both are part timers now. You know, it makes sense. I'm not surprised Orton was on break. I'm not surprised Edge was on break. Edge is a part timer. Orton's like a half part timer. Like he's there most weeks, but he does have like a much more flexible WWE deal. You can say the same thing about AJ Styles. You know, they're there most weeks, but they do get breaks here and there to spend time at home with their families because they are also older superstars. So next week's Raw, it's gonna be. It looks like it's gonna be a big one because you know we'll have whatever happens between Drew and Seth Rollins. We'll have Edge and Randy Orton returning. We'll have the Money in the Bank winners. I think Raw is taking home both Money in the Bank briefcases. Becky Lynch will return. Like next week's Raw is going to be a big one. It's shaping up to be a big one. I don't know how SmackDown's going to look, you know, but at least in terms of Raw's looking pretty big for next week. Um, but yeah, like I said, I'm happy AJ Styles is back. Like he's my favorite one of the male superstars. You guys, or if you guys didn't know, my favorite WWE superstar easily is Sasha Banks. But in terms of other superstars, Becky, or no, not Becky, Ronda, and in terms of the men, you know, Cena, Styles, McIntyre, Daniel Bryan, those are my favorites on the male side. So I'm happy that my boy AJ Styles is back. You know, definitely we'll see. But I definitely think he's one of the favorites to win. I also forgot to say Kevin Owens when we talk about challengers for Drew McIntyre. Like I just gave you like 7 or 8 challengers for Drew McIntyre. There's no reason why that guy should lose the WWE Championship anytime soon. Anyway, we had Two Fly, which is the official name now for Cedric Alexander and what's his name, uh, Ricochet against Brandon Vink and Shane Thorne. You know, this was because last now they're like the two representatives of MVP. MVP's like I guess trying to start his own stable, which I'm not against. As long as we don't see MVP in the ring, I'm fine. Start your own stable, do whatever the hell you want. Because MVP is actually a good manager. Um, but yeah, we've seen this match before. I'm I'm happy. This was okay. This Ricochet and Alexander. They had been winning, you know, but I had a feeling going in that Shane Thorne and Brandon Vick were going to win this match, and I think I understand why. It's kind of like the same thing with what's going on with the Forgotten Sons on SmackDown. I feel like WWE is finally realizing that it needs more tag team. Like it took this pandemic for them to realize that they need more tag teams. They just released the OC, you know, AOP's injured. I know Razor is like recovering from the bicep injury. So right now, you only had 3 teams in your Raw Tag Team division. If you had AOP there and you had the OC, you would actually have an okay division. I'm not gonna say great or anything, but at least it would be okay. But I think WWE is finally realizing, which took them way too long. They should have realized this months ago, but they're finally realizing that they need more tag teams. So I feel like the only reason why Shane Thorne and Brandon Vick won this match, and it wasn't a bad match. It was less than 5 minutes. It was fast paced. Um, I feel like they won this match because WWE's realizing finally that they need more tag teams. They really have no choice. You can't rely on a 3-man division, you know. So I'm not gonna get mad at them, you know, but definitely this is a good sign. And like I always say every single week, if you don't have anything for superstars, if you have no storylines, no direction, instead of putting them in catering, put them in the tag team division. WWE needs all the tag teams it can get at the moment. Next up, we had the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders. I mean, this was so predictable, you know, so predictable. This was just to set up, another match for Money in the Bank. And I hate this because it's lazy, it's uncreative, and it doesn't help the Street Profits. Street Profits went up against the Viking Raiders, which this is basically the only match you could really do right now since there's nobody else in the division. You know, there's no heel teams since AOP and the OC are not there right now. But this was a fast paced match. But the thing about it is, like, this was a really good match. We've seen them kill it in NXT, now on Raw. But what are we going to see this Sunday? Tell me anything. What from this match are you going to see this Sunday that we haven't seen? Plus, you had the Street Profits lose. You guys know how much I hate when champions lose. It devalues the championship and it makes them look less important. I hate when WWE makes this stupid decision making. I hate it. Yes, it was a fast paced match. It was good for a match that had no fans. But think about it is you had the Viking Raiders beat the Street Profits clean again. Like I hate when they do this nonsense. I really do. There's other ways to set up a title match. But the Street Profits won this clean, and this it's gonna get them a title shot. Most likely at Money in the Bank this weekend. It has been confirmed, but I'm willing to bet it will, just because WWE, because there's really not a lot of matches on the card at the moment. You have the SmackDown Tag Team match, you have the SmackDown Women's Championship match, you have the Universal Title match, you have the WWE title match, and you have the Money in the Bank ladder match, because we know both of those matches will be taking place at the same time. So we have about 5 matches right now. So even though like I would be fine with only having 5 matches, but WWE they're gonna add at least 2 more matches because that's the way they work. But I expect the Street Profits to get their revenge this Sunday. Will I be surprised if the Viking Raiders win again? Hell no. Hell no. I won't be surprised if the Viking Raiders win. Because why wouldn't WWE? You know how WWE is. They'll probably do it just to have a shock title win. Anyway, uh still, you know, the Viking Raiders shouldn't have won this match, but I knew it was gonna happen because WWE makes no sense with its decision making. Next up, you had Charlotte versus Liv Morgan. This was kind of you guys know I can't stand Charlotte. I can't stand Charlotte at all. She came out and started talking about, oh, I'm the hardest person or the hardest working person in the industry, man. I'm pulling double duty. Please, Charlotte, your segment last week with Io Shirai was garbage. It was garbage. You Charlotte, people think Charlotte's elevating the NXT Women's Division so they can win the ratings war. They're not. NXT has only won the ratings war once since Charlotte joined uh, the NXT brand. Once. She's not a ratings mover. It's not. Like I don't know what people need to understand about this. She doesn't move ratings. She's a ratings killer if anything. Her segment last week with Io Shirai was the lowest rated segment of the entire NXT show last week. Garbage. She stinks. Get it through your head, people. Like I hate Charlotte. I'm not gonna say I'd say I don't appreciate what she's done for the women's division, but she's over pushed. She's not that good in the ring. She's overrated. Like, should I go on? She comes out talking about how she's the hardest working person in the industry. Okay. And how, she makes dreams come true because Io Shirai said that Charlotte is her dream match. I like Io Shirai, but she's going to get buried on Wednesday. And Io Shirai made a mistake. She should have said her dream match was Sasha Banks. I don't know why you would say your dream match is Charlotte. All right. Um, but yeah, Liv Morgan came out. You guys know I like Liv Morgan a lot. I'm kind of happy she's getting pushed a little bit. You know, I still don't understand why she wasn't put in the women's Money in the Bank match. I feel like it would have been a good match for her to get some experience in. I don't know how the hell you have freaking Dana Brooke in there and not have Liv Morgan. Makes zero sense. But Liv came out. She actually stood toe to toe with Charlotte on the mic. Like, Liv's pretty good. Charlotte's just a robot. Like, I am the NXT Women's Champion. I am not just my daddy's daughter. I am Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte Flair. Like, she's trash. Trash. But Liv Morgan, she held her own. They actually had a decent match. This was not a bad match. This was more about building up Liv Morgan. We all knew Charlotte's gonna win. Come on, when they have Sasha Banks lose to freaking Tamina and Lacey Evans, but they'll never have Becky or Charlotte lose clean on a Monday Night Raw match. Please. But this was not a bad match. I don't really care because it's Charlotte, but I'm just happy. I just eventually Morgan will get pushed, to becoming a champion. I don't know when that will be, but she has all the potential. She gets better and better each week, and I want to see her succeed. Finally, before we get out of here, Drew McIntyre versus Buddy Murphy. Basically, there was nothing. Seth Rollins did cut a promo earlier in the show, and it was a really good promo, if you ask me. Really good promo. He just talked about how he must become WWE champion. He has to be a leader for WWE's locker room, especially in times like this. Drew just doesn't have what's that in him to be that leader. As great a wrestler Drew is, he doesn't have what it takes to lead WWE into the next era. And I'm gonna take that pain. I'm gonna take that burden on my shoulders when I beat him this this Sunday. That's what Seth basically said. It was a good promo. Steph's cut some really good promos in the build up to this feud. Um, I just don't see him winning. If Drew loses, this is Drew's first big. I don't count the Big Show title defense. This is Drew's first big title defense since Mania. I just don't see him losing. I will be very pissed off to see Drew lose. To see how far Drew has come just to be buried like this. No, it's not happening. But they had the match. I don't know why they're always having Drew's matches start with like 5 minutes left in the show. He beat him pretty cleanly. Uh, Basically hit him with a claymore. It was a deadly claymore. I love, like I said, Drew McIntyre's finisher is very similar to Randy Orton's. It comes out of nowhere. But hit him with a claymore, and then him and Seth had a post-match brawl. Basically, Seth tried to hit a stomp on McIntyre. McIntyre tried to hit the claymore on Seth. Both were able to avoid each other's finishers, and we'll see what happens this Sunday. It's going to be a damn good match. We've seen Drew and Seth have bunches of matches in the past when Drew was the heel and Seth was the babyface. Now the roles are reversed. I expect Drew to win, and yeah, nothing special out of that. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. Hopefully you guys stay safe and healthy. But yeah, this show wasn't anything special. This was not a good go home show for Raw. It was not even average. The show was pretty bad. Like, basically nothing really happened. If you didn't know what was if you knew what was happening going into Money in the Bank, this nothing really changed tonight. The only big thing maybe is AJ Styles is replacing Apollo Crews, and that's gonna make Styles probably the favorite in the match. But still, that's about all I got for you guys today. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the review nonetheless. If you guys want me to do a Money in the Bank preview stream, slap a like on this video. I most likely won't be doing a live reaction stream this Sunday, unless I change my mind, but I probably won't. But we will definitely be having a SmackDown review on Friday, most likely, and we will definitely have a live Money in the Bank review on this channel right after Money in the Bank. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. I will see you guys later. Have a great day, guys. Peace.